Good day everyone. Our topic was all about digital harassment and cyber violence. Digital harassment refers to the use of digital platforms such as social media, email, messaging apps, or other online communication tools to intimidate, threaten, and demean or harm individuals. Cyber violence is a broader term encompassing any form of violence committed using digital technology. It includes online harassment, cyber talking, cyberbullying, revenge porn, and non-consensual image sharing and other forms of digital exploitation.
Good day, everyone. So, today we will tackle about types and forms of digital harassment. So, we have 9 types of digital harassment. We have cyberbullying, cyberstalking, harassment by spamming, flaming, trolling, cyber defamation, revenge porn, sextortion, and hacking. So, number one, cyberbullying. It is a repeated intentional harm or intimidation. So, we have 3 forms of digital harassment in cyberbullying. We have messaging harassment, social media harassment, forum, or comment harassment. So, messaging harassment, for example, Sarah receives daily threatening messages from an unknown number saying you're worthless and I'll hurt you. Social media harassment, for example, John's classmates creates a fake Facebook profile to mock him, posting embarrassing photos and mga mean comments. Sa form or comment harassment, for example, si John nag-post siya og mga photos and then gi-commentan siya dito og wala kay angay. So, you're ugly. Ano muna siya example sa cyberbullying. Next, we have cyberstalking, monitoring or tracking someone online. So, we have email stalking, social media stalking, location tracking, online activity monitoring. So, email stalking, receiving excessive emails. So, example, Emily gets daily emails from an unknown number or sender asking personal questions and threatening to reveal her secrets. So, next, social media stalking. So, monitoring someone's online activities. On sa location tracking, online activity monitoring, for example, si Michael tracks his ex-partner's social media accounts, constantly messaging and commenting on their posts. So, muna siya sa cyberstalking. So, number 3, we have harassment by spamming. It is an excessive unwanted messages. So, we have forms of harassment by spamming, email spamming, messaging spamming, comment spamming. So, email spamming, for example, David gets daily spam emails trying to sell him fake products and services. Then, or example po dani is Rachel receives repeated messages from an unknown number asking her to meet up. So, muna siya may example sa harassment by spamming. And then, sa number 4, it is an flaming. It is an insulting or humiliating someone publicly. So, we have online arguments, insulting comments, humiliating posts, and public shaming. So, for example, sa imuang social media post kanang naay someone comments nga you're stupid and your opinions are worthless. So kanang nakaulawan ka ba public shaming sa social media post and then mga insulto nga mga comments. For example, kanang nag-post ka og imo ang nawong and then photos nimo and then mo na sa ito nga you're ugly, wa kay angay. So, muna siya example sa flaming. So next we have number 5, trolling. Posting inflammatory content. So we have forms, provocative comments, controversial posts, argumentative messaging. So for example, ang user 1 sa post kay ana siya na-post nga kanang movie and then naining comment nga I love this new movie and then ang sa kwanda na ni is naining comment po nga or gi-replyan ang iyang comment nga you're so dumb for liking that trash, it's the worst movie ever made. So muna siya example sa cyber defamation sa trolling. And next, we have cyber defamation, spreading false information. So we have forms of digital harassment and cyber defamation. We have online rumors, defamatory posts, false accusations. So for example, someone posts false rumors about a business online, damaging its reputation. So example po ani is that someone posts hateful comments on a post targeting the author. So next, we have number 7, revenge porn, sharing explicit content without consent. So image or video sharing, example, an ex-partner shares intimate photos without consent, threatening to share more if demands aren't met. Dayon, marga po niya siya blackmailing sa explicit messaging. And then sa number 8, sextortion, threatening to share explicit content. So, we have blackmailing, sexual exploitation. For example, kanang if dili dyan mo ni siya buhaton, so akong i-share na ito mga videos na to, mga sexual videos or mga photos. So, muna siya sa example sa sextortion. And then number 9 is hacking unauthorized access. So, we have account hacking, data breaches. For example, is ang hacker gains control of a victim's account, blocking them out and posting embarrassing or hurtful content. So, muna siya example sa hacking, unauthorized access, account hacking, data breaches.
Gender dynamics in cyber violence, it refers to the ways in which gender influence the experience and perpetrations of online abuse. This includes the disproportionate targeting of women and girls, the specific forms of cyber violence they faced, and the underlying societal factors that contribute to this pattern. Research consistently shows that women and girls are significantly more likely to experience cyber violence than men. This is due to a confluence of factors including prevalent misogyny and sexism, the gender digital divide, and online violence shadow pandemic. So, in prevalent to misogyny and sexism, although the internet has the capacity to improve society, it also mirrors and magnifies the sexism and misogyny that exists offline, often driven by a desire to silence, control, or punish women for their online presence and actions. This takes the forms of many cyber violence, including revenge porn, cyber stalking, and online harassment. And the second one is the gender digital divide. It is the result of the tech industry continued to male dominance, which frequently disadvantage women. This may contribute to the continuations of current gender inequality by resulting in a lack of representations of women voices and experience in the creations of online platforms and technology. Then the third one is online violence shadow pandemic. The COVID 19 pandemic increased the likelihood of cyber violence against women and girls. Online harassment and abuse increased as a result of increased internet use during lockdowns, underscoring women's vulnerability in digital sphere. So, di ba sa pandemic is nagayus man jud ta og we're into social media. So, na mga ibang babae nga na na kuan sila kanang na victim of cyber violence. Specific forms of cyber violence targeting women. Cyber violence takes many forms, each with its own unique impact on women's lives. Some of the most prevalent forms are online harassment, cyber stalking, revenge porn, and cyberbullying. Harassment. It includes insult, threats, stalking, and the dissemination of false information. Si cyberstalking is it involved persistent pursuit. This involves the persistent and unwanted online pursuit of a person, often involved threats, intimidations, and the invasions of privacy. Revenge porn is sharing private intimate photos or videos without permission. The cyberbullying it includes of sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, false mean content to someone. These behaviors that will negatively impact to women's mental health, self-esteem, and online participation. Underlying societal factors, the gender dynamics and cyber violence are deeply rooted in societal inequalities and the power of imbalances that exist between men and women. This includes gender stereotypes and discrimination. Prejudice against women and girls in society are frequently reflected and amplified in online environments. Because of this, women may be more likely to be the targets of abuse and have their reports treated less seriously kana murag dili nagapan na ang girls ba kay wala ginapansin ang ilang mga kuan sa society kanang murag wala ginaseryoso na. Then next is lack of online safety awareness. Women and girls may be less knowledgeable about online safety techniques and resources, which leaves them more open to abuse and exploitation. So like for example kanang naabit ang mga kuan nga bag-o lang nakagamit og social media, so wala jud sila kamuwang-muwang sa paggamit pataka sila kuan dira. Then next is social media pressure. Girls and women may be especially vulnerable to harassment and abuse due to societal ideals of perfections and beauty on the internet. Next is power imbalances. Victims may find it more difficult to disclose abuse because of the anonymity afforded by the internet, which can also embolden abusers. Example of dynamic digital harassment and cyber violence is impersonation. This involves creating a fake profile or account to impersonate someone online, often with the intentions of spreading lies, damaging their reputations, or embarrassing them. Cyberbullies may use impersonations to send harmful messages, post inappropriate content, or engage in other form of harassment. Like for example, kung magama sila lain nga account, pwede use your photos, then mga dayon og kwarta, or bata ka og chat, then panira sa imong mga kaila. Then next is online hate speech and trolling. This involves using derogatory language, insults, and threats to target women based on their gender. Often this takes the form of trolling, where individuals post inflammatory or offensive comments with the intentions of provoking a reaction rather, or disrupting online conversations like kanang mag-comment bitag dili na mga maayo.
Good day, everyone. Today I am going to discuss about legal and institutional responses to cyber violence. So, what is cyber violence? Cyber violence includes harmful actions like cyberbullying, online harassment, cyberstalking, non-consensual consensual sharing of intimate images, and online hate speech. Uh, Cyberviolence is a growing concern in the digital age due to its increased internet use. So, to fight these problems, governments and organizations worldwide have created laws and policies, international frameworks. Um, some rules apply to many countries and help guide how to deal with cyber violence. So, for example, in United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or UDHR, says everyone has a right to privacy and protection from harassment. And second is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW, treats online violence against women as a violation of human rights. And in Budapest Convention on Cybercrime 2001, so this is the first global agreement to fight cybercrimes like online threats and harassment. It helps countries work together to stop these crimes. And the Council of Europe Istanbul Convention 2011. So this recognizes online violence as a form of harm, especially against women, and asks countries to create strong laws to stop it. So next is national laws against cyber violence. So number one, laws against harassment and cyberbullying. In United States, um, many states have laws against cyberbullying and online harassment. For example, the Megan Meyer Cyberbullying Prevention Act um, makes it illegal to harm someone through electronic messages. And next is the Communications Decency Act, or CDA, regulates online content, but Section 230 protects platforms from being blamed for what users post. Next in next in United Kingdom. So laws like the Malicious Communications Act 1988 and the Communications Act 2003 punish sending harmful or offensive online messages. So the proposed online safety bill holds social media platforms accountable for harmful content. And in Australia, the Enhancing Online Safety Act 2015 created the e-Safety Commissioner to handle online abuse. And sharing private images without permission is a crime under the Criminal Code Act 1995. Uh, Next is number two, non-consensual sharing of intimate images. So in Canada, the Protecting Canadians from Online Crime Act 2015 makes it illegal to share someone's private images without their permission. And in India, the Information Technology Act 2000 punishes sharing obscene materials, including private images, without consent. And number three is anti-stalking and hate speech. So in Germany, the General Data Protection Regulation protects people's personal data, which can help stop cyber stalking. The Network Enforcement Act, or NETS-DG, requires social media platforms to remove harmful content like hate speech within 24 hours. And in the Philippines, the Anti-Cybercrime Prevention Act 2012 criminalizes stalking and spreading false information online. So finally, it's the institutional policies. Mm, so beyond laws, governments, private companies, and NGOs, non-government groups, take other steps to fight cyber violence. So like online reporting mechanisms. So many countries provide ways for victims to report cyber violence. For example, the UK has a revenge porn helpline to help victims of private image sharing. and Australia's e-safety commissioner helps people report online abuse. So next is educational campaigns. And education campaigns teach people how to stay safe online. For example, the Stop, Think, Connect campaign in the United States and the UNESCO's program promoting safe online practices or safe internet use. So next is corporate policies. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter have their own rules to stop cyber violence. So they allow users to block or report harmful content on accounts. So that is all for my report, and the next report is about strategies for prevention and support. Thank you.
Next is prevention strategies. Prevention cyberbullying requires a multi-pronged approach involving individuals, organizations, and society as a whole. So for individual strategies, you must have to be mindful. First, you must have to be mindful on online behavior. Be aware of the potential impact of your words and actions online. Avoid engaging in harmful behavior even if seems harmless. Dapat mindful ta sa atong gipang post or gipang comment sa social media aron di ta makaapekto sa isig katawo sa ilang kuan mental health kay for us, like for example mag-comment ta og mga joke, but for them it's an insult na. So we must have to be think before we click. Next is set a strong password. Use a strong and unique password for all online accounts to protect your personal information. Kung magamit man kag password na common or sayon is there's a possibility nga dali ra siya ma-hack sa hacker and it will ruin your personal information. Is be conscious of strangers. Be wary of individual you don't know online, like di ka magpasagad og salig sa usa ka tawo nga sa social media ra nimo nakaila kay basin og busohon imong pagkamaayo. Next is block and unfollow. Avoid sharing personal information with them, especially kanang mga tao nga kanang murag lahi na bitaw sila kanang below the belt na. So para magkuan is you need to block them para dili na sila makakontak sa imo. Organizational strategies. First is you must have to develop clear policies. Organizations should establish clear policies against cyberbullying and harassment, outlining acceptable online behavior and consequences for violation. Then second is protect training. Organizations should provide training to employee and students on cyberbullying preventions, including recognizing, reporting, and responding to incidents. Then promote a culture of respect. Foster a workplace or school environment where respect and kindness are valued, discouraging harmful online behavior. Social strategies. Education and awareness. Raise awareness about cyber violence and its impact through public campaigns, educational program, and media coverage can effectively inform individuals about the different forms and cyber violence, its impact on victims, and strategies to prevent and respond. Next is support for victims. Provide comprehensive support services for victims of cyber violence, including counseling, legal, and advocacy. Counseling can help victims process their trauma, develop coping mechanisms, and build resilience. This can include individual therapy, support groups, and online resources. Then, legal aid can provide victims with access to legal representations, helping them to navigate the legal system, pursue justice, and obtain protections orders. Then, advocacy can empower victims to speak out about their experiences, raise awareness about cyber violence, and advocate for policy changes. By offering comprehensive support services, victims can receive the necessary help to heal, rebuild their lives, and seek justice. And that will be all. Thank you.